Well, hello, good people, and Eagle and Commander and 49er fans. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great day. It is Sunday. We are exactly 3 weeks, three weeks away from the Dallas Cowboys reporting, the players reporting in Oxnard. 3 Sundays from now, they will be there. And in the meantime, there ain't nothing going on but the rent. Ain't no news out there about the Cowboys really of any credibility or anything. And we've got our Sunday stream here. And so, of course, let's take a look. We got Lady Libra in third place right now. We've got, we got Chris May in second place. And Newhouse family right now is in first place, ready for week 1. So Lambs and Pickens can light up the Eagles secondary. Amen to that. All right, let's get to the crew here. Gentlemen, how are we doing? We got Loyal Cowboy, and of course, Momo is always the first one in the clubhouse. We got Lamar Davis. Shout out to Lamar Davis, who is actually an Eagle fan, but he is a channel member. There's Miss Gibson. There's Holly Pierce. There's Game Time Brian. What's going on? Vince P. Shout out to everybody who took time out from their Sunday heat to join us. Game Time, I hope you got your AC working. I heard that yours was out last week. I was doing fixing the electric for my mother-in-law so she can get her AC back on. And we got Walker Wade jumping in. And which Wade are we getting? Oh shit, what Wade are we getting? And we got Holly Pierce in the house too. Holly, one of the most knowledgeable ladies that are out there. Her and of course oh my God, I'm having a brain fart. Lovely Linda is another one of the very knowledgeable ladies that we have in here. In fact, all of our ladies are very, very smart. Like all ladies are very smart. All right, good people. Momo, what you got going on, man? You were telling me that Jalen Daniels is going to be league MVP. He's not going to have a sophomore slump. Isn't that what you were saying? But what?
Okay, y'all guys want to do
and
that.
Ladies.
He's not ordinary quarterback. Nothing phase this guy. He can get rushed, he get butt rushed, he get blitzed up the middle. He throws the ball accurately. He's an accurate quarterback. He ain't Robert Griffin when he uses his legs. His first option is to throw the ball, not to run the ball. He ain't Lamar Jackson. Early on, Lamar Jackson depend on his running ability to throw like that. He is a pocket passer. He could do either way. He's versatile. So all this sophomore slump y'all want to talk about, go away. Go ahead. Doubt my team. Doubt it.
I hope you're right, Momo, because if not, we're going to light your ass up.
Okay, no, I hope he's wrong because we're going to light his ass. Oh, no, actually, we don't want to see his ass. We've seen it before.
No, we ain't. No,
we ain't trying to see his ass.
I haven't. I apologize, everybody. I haven't done nothing on my little channel, but I am going to show my ass. Meaning not figuratively, but I am going to do that about training camp.
Well, you need to hurry and get that shit going because training camp's coming up soon.
Oh, wow.
I got the perfect song for it.
What's that?
I'm going to rip the NFL and every team who does training camp. I'm going to rip them about training camp because I know what really happens on training camp, why it is a bunch of bullshit and people are getting... I feel bad for Dallas Cowboy fans. Y'all paying money to go see some players rub against each other. I'm sorry. That's not training camp. So,
well, I got the perfect song for your
what's that, Holly?
Your rant. The ham bones connect to the thigh bones.
Exactly.
We could do it. Really
Bobo is gonna go postal. Damn.
I could play that song. They not like us. They not like us. The Washington team is not. No, they not like us.
Shout out to Blue Virus, man, and Game Time Brian for 43 months of being a member. Okay, so anybody not named Momo thoughts about what's going on. We've got a report from Adam Schefter, which is he's doing a whole lot of talking, but ain't really saying anything. Basically saying that the Micah Parsons deal is close and they expect it to be done in the next few weeks and all that. It's like, well, hell, I could have said that.
The way it's
no
probably
news.
going to look, it'll probably be right at the start of training camp when that deal gets done, because he said it'd probably be a few weeks, and lo and behold, we're 3 weeks away from training camp.
You know, thank you, Adam Schefter, for that breaking news.
No news
there's
is good
just
news.
nothing going on. And I just ignore the articles saying the proposed trades or.
Oh my God,
anything like
that shit has been going on
Any of them.
like it's on steroids now. Between that and the slop AI, it's like, man, come on, they're killing me. We've got Mike Furio joining Colin Cowherd with putting Schottenheimer as a one and done coach today. So we got that. Thoughts on
news, Mark?
Huh?
Only news somebody getting arrested for the 49ers.
Yeah, that was kind of that was an idiot. Their defensive back. So I don't know if you guys heard that one, but basically, there was a disturbance. The police were called, and they noticed he had an unregistered firearm or concealed weapon in his car. And they basically said, "Give me the keys to the car." And they decided to pitch the keys around to his buddies and stuff. So they're playing keep away from the police. It's like, you think that's going to work? Police are going to say, "Oh, man, we can't get the keys, so we're just going to leave. Okay, have a nice day." No, they arrested his ass, and he's got his court date 3 days before training camp. Still kind of minor.
Yeah, and then the other thing, the Tucker thing, the 10-week ban, which I don't know why it wasn't done earlier, but you knew they was going to ban them.
The 10-week ban for
the kicker.
Oh, his career. Here's the reality: his kicking had been going downhill, and he might have been cut anyway. So his career is probably over. Justin Tucker.
Somebody else signed. Somebody else signed.
I don't know.
No, because he could go. He could go to UFL. He could go to UFL. Somebody will sign him. Somebody will sign him.
Not for
Drew says, Mark, is it really that far-fetched that Shotty can be one and done, especially with this Dallas team? Jerry Jones has never fired anybody, including Dave Campo, who went 5-11 3 years in a row. He's never fired anybody 1 year on a deal. Just hasn't happened. You can look at Mike McCarthy's first year and how much of a disaster that was. Campo. Come on, man. Yeah, I mean, he held on to Dave Campo, man.
That's a ridiculous take.
Those are days I don't want to relive.
Yeah.
Well, look at Jimmy Johnson's
Campo
first
just
year.
didn't have a quarterback.
What was that?
The defense was like
that
top
is
5
true.
in the league.
Yeah, that is true.
Defense was like top 5 in the league those 3 years. He didn't have a quarterback.
Okay.
Yeah, no quarterback. And Quincy Carter's.
You ain't gonna win with Quincy. Well, you're not gonna win with Chad Hutchinson and all those guys.
God, and they brought in Ryan Leaf in that time.
Ryan Leaf, that's what I was thinking of.
Ryan Leaf,
Chad Hutchinson,
wow.
Quincy Carter, Clint Sterner. Good grief, those are guys I don't want. Those are guys I want to forget.
How crazy
is
it that?
Remember, Jimmy Johnson's first year was 1-15.
Yeah.
He never coached an NFL team before in his life, and so you have to give Brian Schottenheimer, at least he's coached in the NFL, but never been a head coach. So, like we said the other day, he has a learning curve that he's got to go through, like any other new head coach, and that goes for Brian Johnson too, that came from the Lions.
No, I believe if he beat the Eagles, he might get an extension. If he beat the Eagles twice, he might get an extension for another 3 years, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I mean, the Joneses seem to respect him other than Mike McCarthy. They're giving him more free agents. So
they are definitely
I look at where he's been
working with
actually. Them. You know, the guy's been there with a Super Bowl team. So
totally.
I'm sure that he's learned from other coaches as well as Pete Carroll, his dad.
He was with his dad for many years. He knows what a good head coach looks like.
Right.
Well,
he knows what it takes to be what is required of him as a head coach.
You can see it. You
I
can see
don't
it
know if
right
it's
now.
true or not. Did he turn down some head coaching jobs in the past? I just like, did he or did he? Because that was what the take I had. I'm hearing.
I'm not too sure, Momo. I think maybe when he was Seattle's OC, he might have gotten a couple offers. I'm not too sure though. I mean, but only thing is he's here now, and we got to trust him.
Looking at Scotty's history as an OC, all those offenses were pretty effective at running the football. So it's a possibility our running game may have just got upgraded.
Yeah, but you still got to have a running back. Now, there's still a lot of questions there.
Especially with Clayton Adams, he turned James Conner around.
Mm-hmm.
He deserves credit, and I'm happy to have an offensive line guy as our OC. I think that's great. I think that's great philosophy.
Yeah,
help me, Rhonda. How you doing?
So
yeah, but I'm not with Game Time what he said on his on his channel. You can't concentrate on one thing. One thing. That's on any team. You say, "Hey, I got a great running game. That's what I do." And not
you have to be balanced.
Yes, and I think it'll be a big mistake if the Cowboys come out there and just throw the ball to Pickens.
Right? No, they need to be running the ball, Momo. They need to run the ball.
Yeah.
They need to be more balanced, and I agree with that. Because the Eagles last year were balanced, and that's why they won.
And I know Game Time just said something about he took Mark Sanchez to 2 AFC championships.
Mm-hmm.
No, the defense took them to 2 AFC championships.
Yeah, but he had Mark Sanchez as a competent starter.
Yeah, but they also were able to run the ball, which helped to complement the defense too.
It wasn't Mark Chaz throwing the football that one on beating Brady.
No, you missed the point, Momo. You missed the point. The point is he had a less than stellar quarterback that they kept him from, without him destroying the team. That they found a way to work around him to complement the defense by being able to run the football.
Right, you're right.
The Jets as a team were pretty good those 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they was good.
And they weren't. We could say what we want to about Mark Sanchez. He has a pretty solid year those 2 years.
Yes, he did.
I mean, they were in the back-to-back AFC championships. Yeah, they lost to the Tom Brady and the Steelers, but
I would agree with you. Because I thought the whole time Rex was there, he had them in some way fighting for the division or doing something because they had a good team.
Yeah,
that's the best the Jets have been in a very long time.
Oh, that's
very long time. Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually when the Cowboys had his brother, I didn't think his brother did a bad job.
Wait a minute. I'm not going to say that Mark Sanchez was solid. He was 12-20 in 2009 TDs. He was 17-13 in 2010. His best year was 2011 was 26-18.
You got to look at situation football. He did what he's supposed to do.
26 TDs and 18 interceptions.
Win the game. He was winning games as the quarterback.
Yeah, but exactly. Well, he was winning games while turning it over, Momo. If they had a quarterback,
I agree with that.
I would go back to their playoff losses in those games. Was it Mark Sanchez or just
oh God.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he put. Okay, I tell you what. Here, this is actually surprising because in 2009, they were 2-1. He had 4 TDs, 2 interceptions. In 2010, he had 5 TDs and 1 interception in the playoffs. He was better in the playoffs than he was during the regular season.
Yeah, totally.
60% completion. He was like a 54 during the regular season.
Well, I don't mean to go off topic here, but Tyler Guyton was training with Tyron Smith at his offensive line camp.
Yeah.
And I mean, these Eagle fans are talking all crazy. Tyler Guyton's going to come and take some heads. I'm telling you, he's going to be good. He's going to be a lot better than he was last year.
It couldn't be worse.
I hope you're right, but I got to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
That first year was garbage. That first year was hot garbage.
Hey, he had a good game against Miles Garrett. He tired out.
I need you to dominate the entire season.
He wasn't supposed to start though, Wade. It was supposed to be.
Yeah, but if you're gonna protect my quarterback's blind side, you need to go in there immediately and do good. I don't need mediocre at my left tackle. I don't need mediocre.
It was BB as that first pick. You should have we've got to look at it that way because he's a really good center.
Like I hope Tyler Guyton is a beast this year. But guess what? Dak needs protection from that left side. And guess what? If he ain't playing good, Schottenheimer gonna bench his ass. I promise.
Oh yeah. We got a bunch of linemen. There's a bunch. So yeah, he's on thin ice.
Get to Dak Prescott. So y'all think because this new body and new thing with Dak Prescott, y'all think he's going? Because if he runs, I don't think he's going to be running the ball. If he decides to run more, I feel bad for the Cowboys situation. But y'all do have a good quarterback.
Since his injury, Momo. Yeah. I mean, he's more of a pocket guy since his injury in 2020. So.
Well, he doesn't run
Cowboy much. I don't really need Dak to run. You know?
Yeah, especially at his age. Especially he's missed 2 seasons already. I mean, he doesn't need to run.
Because that pressure's coming on him because of Milton is back behind him, and so he's feeling that pressure.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's going to have a good regular season. I think it all comes down to the playoffs. I mean, that's one thing the Eagles fans are right about, but. That's what it comes down to for Dak.
Dak needs to worry about staying upright, staying healthy, and taking the team forward.
Yeah. And
that's all I should be worried about right now.
Too.
We need a good running game.
Needs to step it up too.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't be if I'm Dak. I'm not worried about Joe Milton. I'm more like I need to stay healthy, and we need to step forward.
I'm worried more about the running game than Joe Milton. Honestly, I mean, who's going to be your starting running back? That's the big question.
So I just want to say this. These people, I don't know why this made news, because some things ain't newsworthy about Dallas Cowboys, the recent wide receiver who y'all got from the Steelers didn't go to the camp that he was supposed to do. That's not a big news. Everybody does that.
Yeah, everybody does it, Momo. There's no stories,
There's no stories.
This is the NFL. This is the NFL winner right here. We're just waiting we're just waiting for training camp. Everyone's coming up with bullshit to talk about. We just
find any little nitpick thing about defensive back getting arrested for 49ers.
Yeah, we got 4 weeks left. That's all I'm worried about.
Right. Yeah, hopefully they get Micah done, but Jerry.
And what's
I'm not even worried about the Micah contract. Jerry, he'll get that done before the regular season.
This old thing came up on my feed saying LeBron James wants to play in the NFL. Sit your old ass down. No, he ain't going to the NFL. Then something came on my feed, Leo, about our ex Eagle DB used to play for the Eagles, is trashing Debo because they had clashes in the past, and when he was playing, I'm like, this is not. Why are we talking about this? Why is this on my feed? It doesn't mean anything. Who cares? He's talking shit. He don't even play in the league. He has no impact on the league whatsoever on Debo.
I really can't speak to what someone is doing when they are no longer a part of the organization actively.
Right.
And so all I can do is just sit here and listen to you guys, because you guys are all in customer service. We're in checkout. So our conversations are different.
Leo,
the arrogance.
Leo.
Hey, Hallie.
No.
Hey, we done checked out 5 times already.
No, I say you guys are in customer service.
We didn't check out 5 times already.
Yeah, but right now,
y'all done only checked out twice.
You're in customer service.
Actually,
the last time you won was in the late 1900s.
I mean, we're shopping at Costco. You at Albertsons right now.
It's so okay, but right now you're in customer service.
But right now, we on a new path because we got a new business going on with my Washington team. We are a new business, and we on the speed dial of everybody trying to get to come here. So everybody wants to go play for us. Period. You know it.
You really think that?
Oh, I know that. You know that. Don't Eagles? Some of those Eagles want to come to play for Washington. You know that. Oh,
name one person that wants to play for you, because I can't think of anybody else.
I was going to say, first of all, Hallie, they don't even have the plumbing straight at their stadium. Okay,
That's retired.
What's it got to do with
plumbing
so what
doesn't
it got-
work.
Oh, Mark.
You
Mark,
can't
I'm
take
glad
a
you're here,
hot
Mark.
shower after a game.
Well, okay.
And
Okay.
he
Fine,
says
You can take a shit
I
shower though in the
don't care about the
stands.
come play
stadium.
for the.
You think
for
I
the,
care
for the
about what the
Commanders.
plumbing work
Okay.
of the stadium? Leo's guilt miss me with that. Mark, I do have to address you on one thing. I just want to.
That's what you call a redirect, Hallie. You see how he just did that?
Yeah, because what you're saying is insignificant to what I want to talk about.
Oh,
That's
Lordy.
silly talk.
It was just a question. I was just curious. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
trying to be smart. I was just curious because I couldn't think of anybody offhand
No,
who said they
I
wanted
can
to
tell
play
you,
for the
Michael
Commandos.
Parson would
For the
love to be
Commanders.
with our Washington football.
Oh
team.
my
No, he
God.
wouldn't.
Hell,
No, he wouldn't.
Put down the crack pipe, man.
I mean, we took. I mean, damn, one of your defensive linemen left y'all, came back to us. He said,
For a cheap deal.
forget the Commanders.
Contract. Hey, Mark, your
Mhm.
son who you was riding with today,
Yeah.
and he's a nice guy. He cool, good people. But you know he's a Washington fan now, right? You know he's a turncoat now. He's
No.
Mark, don't go down that rabbit hole. He's just fucking with you. Don't do it.
That ain't happening,
Don't do
man.
it. Loyal, you see he's starting already. You see this, right? Loyal.
Mhm.
He's
Yeah.
trying to bait Mark to go down this
You
damn
know,
rabbit hole.
it's funny because one of you two is gonna have a bad season. Eagles or Commanders. I don't know which one of you is gonna be eating some crow, but what I know Momo's going to.
No, I'm not.
I think it may be. I may be both of them, Mark. It may be both of them.
You know what I want to see? I want to see a Momo meltdown. I want to see a
Momo
Momo.
It won't be
meltdown.
coherent.
That'd be
though.
awesome.
That'd be a good one.
That's the
Oh,
thing.
that reminds
Will
me.
it be
Who picked up
coherent?
Gainwell?
He's in Pittsburgh.
Oh,
Come on,
okay.
Kenneth-
So
Kenneth
Momo don't have
Gainwell?
to worry about him then.
Yeah, he went to Pittsburgh.
So
Okay.
Drew, if you gotta keep repeating, that's all you get about a football score that happened 4 or 5 months ago. I'm sorry, man.
I mean,
Go
Drew has a point though.
back
because
and
your
type
defense
something.
is
and
Well, to
terrible.
be fair, it was your last game, so.
Your
Yeah,
defense
but
is
I'll say this.
terrible, Momo. He has
I'll
a
say
point.
this. You guys should if I were you, I would be excited. The only thing that would be keeping me from getting excited about my run game is the quality of the running backs. Everything else, like all the other elements, you got a good coach in there now. You know what I'm saying? You got a good your offensive coordinator, even your head coach who has a run heavy type of style to the way he runs offenses. I would be excited about the run game, except for
The running backs.
quality of running backs, and that's the part that I would be like, damn, like, because imagine. Here's the thing. Whatever you guys do in as far as like the running game goes, it's going to be good. The issue for all of you is going to be, what if we had a better quality running back?
Yeah.
Like when you guys talk about Philadelphia's offensive line, and when you guys talk about it, you look at how running backs, and if you think about the quality of running back in the last 3 years, every running back that we had career years and yardage when they played behind that offensive line, and even including Saquon. But DeAndre Swift was no joke either, and I really thought that we were going to re-sign him. That's who I wanted. Before I didn't, and at the time I didn't know that Saquon was a possibility, but I really liked DeAndre Swift. And my point in all that is to say, like after Miles Sanders, you had DeAndre Swift, you had Saquon. So I'm thinking, damn, like when I look at Dallas's run game and the way it's put the potential for it to be set up, the only problem I have is the quality of running back. That's the only thing. And there's a couple of question marks in terms of who you got.
Well, you can have average running backs if you have a great offensive line.
And that's why I said, whatever you do, right? Whatever you do in the running game, the problem for you guys is always going to be, man, what if we had a better running back? You're going to do good, but you could be, like I said, I look at your run offense, and I'm just like, the only thing they really missing at this point is a really good running back.
Yeah, but
at least a proven
great running backs out there. They're gone.
Yeah, even through the draft, you see what I'm saying? that's where some of your question marks may come into play. But again, this is a years long process, meaning plural. So who's to say that next season, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago because I kept pointing out to Mark that y'all got just as many draft picks coming up in the next draft as we do.
Mm-hmm.
And if and let's just say, you guys hit on a few things this year, then next year's draft, it's like, hey, you're talking about addressing, some offensive line, a good running back, next year's good running back. There's some things that like you're not that far off as long as Jerry doesn't do Jerry things that he hasn't done thus far.
Yeah.
So that's all. That's all. Not, and I didn't mean it to sound like I'm trolling or anything like that. I'm just like, okay, I see how you guys are putting things together. Your run game is going to be all right, but it could be better if you had a better running back. That's all.
I can agree.
I came in nice.
You did. I don't understand. Were you not smoking any weed today?
I am. I'm smoking right now, but no, it's all good.
Well, the thing that I'm going to say that I love about this year versus last year, when you think about Dak Prescott, remember he went on a boat ride and he was wearing a soft cast?
We talked about it. He was
okay. Okay. Then you had CeeDee Lamb who was holding out, so Dak wasn't doing his six-pack get-together like he's doing now. Now you've got all these guys together, and you see the relationship that seems to be building between Pickens and CD. I'm going to call him Life. The movie Eddie Murphy and what's his name? Martin Lawrence, right? That the two of them are just hanging out like best buddies and things.
Fly.
Okay, and to be able to have this, I actually love this. I know people, and I know everybody works out at this time of year, and maybe we're just seeing more of the Cowboys because the Cowboys are just covered more than anybody else. But to see Micah Parsons and all the defenders working out on the beach this weekend after he ended up doing special needs camp.
Yeah.
Earlier in the day, then in the afternoon, him and the guys are together, seeing them working. I feel like he's becoming the quarterback of the defense in the same way that Dak Prescott is getting together all the offensive weapons and things. And to get this work in, as opposed to saying, man, we got 3 weeks before training camp goes, they're going to hit the ground running this year as opposed to last year. I think last year, I kind of wish I were going to training camp this year, but it's for the amount of money it costs, I don't know that it's really worth it to do it, but I would like to see the difference of last year versus this year. It literally felt like going to some of those practices where the stands are completely empty, and it was like going to a funeral. It wasn't like
you about that last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
This year, I think there's going to be a lot of excitement and things. I don't know if the numbers will increase because this really hit me today. Is the purity of sports for the fans is gone. It used to be that training camp, autograph signings, and things like this were the chances for you to really get to the players in a different level. It has turned so much into how can we manage this and make more money out of it? You know what I mean? And that's where, when you see the Fanatics Fest and all that they did in New York and everything else, as I go to Chantilly and I will always go see, the older players, but it's $20 just to get in there. Right. And then you got to spend, Charles was $85, which I don't mind paying that. D-Ware $100. But then when you get guys like Trevor Lawrence that are $275,
I'm sorry, wait. You said Trevor Lawrence is 200.
Trevor Lawrence last year was
the quarterback from
Jacksonville was $275.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. It was $275 to get Trevor Lawrence's autograph.
Yes,
but it was $85 to get Charles Haley.
Yeah.
Damn, I wonder what kind of weed they were smoking.
But but see, anybody who's with Fanatics, there's a premium that's now put onto it. Micah Parsons is like 150, CDs like 150, and now they'll only autograph like NFL licensed merchandise. Now, for me, it's kind of cool because I like to do the prints, You know, the wood prints and things. And what happens is the players, they see these and they're like, oh my God, man. Because DeMarcus Ware today was incredible. He looked at it, he's like, my God, man, this is cool. And I ended up giving one of them to him. When I gave one to Charles, Charles was looking at it and he was like, man, this is really cool and all that. And I said, I got one for you. And he was like, well, wait a minute, what? I said, listen. I said, everybody comes at you guys because they want something. I said, I want to give something back to you for what you've done for the team and the fans. And he was literally taken aback. And see, that's the level. When you used to go to training camp, that was kind of how it was. Now, if you're not spending $21 a person to even be on the fence line to be close to the field, or $300 to be in the raised platform, you're not getting anywhere close to the players.
Well, wait a minute, Mark. If I could have swore last summer, you told us, because we were teasing you about it, but then you explained to us, because you had went to Oxnard, you told us what we were looking at was Fugazi, because of the way they had blocked off the way where fans can stand and everything like that.
It is.
So even though those bleachers, you said, I think you was telling us the bleachers were empty because they weren't on that side. They weren't.
No. Here, the Cowboys training camp, it's a poot screw. What they have is they have two fields. Okay. There's stands on one side, which are flat out in the sun. You are getting sunned on. You don't know which fields they're going to be doing most of the work on. The opposite side, they have the raised platforms, and to get over there, it's like $300 a practice, a day. You have to pay there, okay? In the end zone, they have Oxnard Live or whatever, so that's their VIP section, and family and press and stuff can be in the end zone over there. And the fence line that's in front of the bleachers is a double fence that you have to have, you know, the wristband, which costs you $21 per person to be there. So if you want to sit in the bleachers, it's free. But it may end up being that they're practicing on the other field and you can't be there. And the same can be reversed where you're paying to be on the platform over there and they're not practicing on that field. So you spent $300 and you may not be able to see Jack. You might be able to drink some Jack.
Right.
But you might not see Jack. So it's now just a business. And that's the same thing about now the autograph signings. It's like, you know, there's such a premium cost that you're pricing out the fans, the real fans that are the ones that have been the diehards.
Yeah, but also that Fanatics, Mark, it was football, it was crazy wrestling, it was all kind of UFC, it was so many things going on. So Fanatics, to me, a friend of mine, he went to Fanatics. Do you tell me that Charles Haley was 85? Do you know the autograph signing for CM Punk at that same Fanatics show or Cena was over $200?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
$200 to see a pre-recorded, a pre-scripted thing, than a football player busting his ass and all his life. That's all he knew. So that's why
I'll tell you why. It's because these are current players versus other ones, even though they've already established themselves.
Yeah.
Looking at the current players, and the current players are charging more for.
Speak on it, Loyal. That's it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Well, that's totally what it is. Loyal's right.
No, it's true. I agree. But my point being though is Trevor Lawrence ain't worth $275 for his autograph. Sorry, he's not.
I was just trying to get it in my head that you know, like the prices that you were quoting, because again, when we think about, you know, Trevor, even to Loyal's point, we're talking about a current player, and he was the number 1 draft pick. But I just can't imagine his autograph would warrant $275. And here we are talking about, in comparison to one of the most destructive forces on the football field named Charles Haley.
And check this out, Leo. A lot of times these fans know it at the hotels when they plane come in. So these fans going there, running to them, one's gonna sign some autograph jersey, so they can send it up to eBay to make crazy money on it because they want it. That's what they do. So it's a win-lose situation on both sides. The fans are taking advantage of the situation and want to sign without them. You know how they do. They run up to you.
But here's what they do. What they do is when they bring him there, they pay him a promotional fee, but they not only do the autograph signing and the photographs. Okay, there's a fee for everything, right? They also have him sitting back in the room there signing a bunch of helmets and jerseys and all that stuff.
Like when they line them up on a table.
Yeah. But I ain't talking about those. I'm talking about a fan running up to them and when they land their plane or go or in public, running it up to them. They in a restaurant with their family or or wherever they doing socially. They want them and want them to sign something so they can so they can profit off it. The player. That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
I mean, that does happen because you do have. I mean, a lot of people will go there and see what I do. One, I will always get older players' autographs and give them away, and I've got a bunch of them here that I need to give away because those guys, most of them are broke. They never made the money like these new guys do, and so many of them are forgotten. Because like Warren Moon was $65.
Wow.
Okay. Warren Moon. Okay, but Trevor Lawrence is $275. But
wait, that's what I was about to say. Wait, Warren Moon was what, $65?
$65,
and Trevor Lawrence is $2. Right.
Now, okay,
customer service.
And put that in perspective. Rashid Rice was there today, and he was $100. Rashid Rice is more than Charles Haley.
Wow.
Okay, come on.
Dude even had 800 yards.
Right. And of course the car accident there.
Yeah.
Damn, Chris. Damn.
So what happens is that these players have they have so much stuff they can do to charge money. They have their own park guys and little businesses, and Fanatics will give them a little contract behind the NFL contract, and then
Exactly.
So they got so much going on, so they can say, hey, shoot. Because look what's happened to Ace Bailey, what he's doing. And then he's going to end up being the bust for the NBA because what he has doing now, because he said, hey, I don't have to be great to be able to make the money. I could go ahead and do this. I can go to Rutgers. I don't have to go to Blue Bloods. The same thing in NBA. And some of these NFL players come in, they feel the same way. I don't have to work as hard as someone else will do. I can still make the same amount of money.
I just don't know who's crazier, the one that pays the $275 because they know that
there weren't many people there for him. Okay.
Yeah, and they're probably going to try to auction it off on there, because then they're going to try to get 3 times worth of money what they paid to get the autograph. I don't know if they're crazier or the person that's actually going to buy it from them that's crazier.
Hey, it's a sucker born every day, so somebody gonna buy it. Somebody
it is. And so I do have autograph. I'm not an autograph person, so I don't wear. I see celebrities or football, or when I was living in DC all the time, or politicians. I never ran up and say, "Hey, I got to take your autograph," because I don't care about autograph. But my God bless him, my brother who passed away. He does have an autograph jersey of John Riggins, his son.
Nice.
He has it, but now his son has it.
Nice.
And they asked me for it that I wanted. I said no. Give it to his son because that's the blue. Because something like that.
Yeah.
That's not for me to have.
Yeah. I have an autographed game jersey of Brian Dawkins. I have a autographed football.
He was a beast.
Brent Selleck.
Brian Dawkins was a beast.
Yeah, and I have autographed helmet of Deshaun Jackson.
A real football player right there.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I got a Charles Haley jersey.
Well, I've never really been a big
Brian Dawkins in the same league as Charles Haley in terms of wanting the importance of their autograph and importance to the team.
Yes.
Brian Dawkins, Charles Haley was just as revered and respected and loved like Brian Dawkins is with the Philadelphia Eagles in comparison. In comparison,
yeah.
So I get it, and that's why I'm kind of like ready to fall out my chair when you say things to me like, yeah, Charles Haley was only $80, but Trevor Lawrence is $275.
It's crazy. It's where you're like, the fuck is this?
I'm an Eagles fan, and even I know better than that. Like, what?
Yeah, but
Damn.
But it's turning.
Look how
that's
how
mad
he fell
disrespectful.
off.
Then you turn around and say some shit like, yeah, Trevor Lawrence is 275 and Warren Moon is 60. Huh?
Right.
And look at Trevor Lawrence today. He's never going. He's a beach guy. He's loved to be on the beach. He's that's what he's like that. He's not. He don't. I don't believe he takes the game seriously enough. On what I see.
Well, to the point on that, here's where I find it funny because I keep hearing all this stuff that, first of all, everybody looks at the Cowboys and says, like you just did with Leo about our running backs are suspect, right? You've got now, Mike Farello and, Kyle Hurd saying that, our coach is going to be one and done. We got questions in our secondary. We got questions on our defensive line. Is Mozzie going to be able to step up? Hell, we got questions on our tackles. But I keep hearing all this stuff.
How is your coach on the hot seat?
Because
he hasn't coached the actual game yet.
Thank you. But that's what Colin Cowherd has literally done. He's going to be one and done. And then Mike Furio follows it up and puts coaches on the hot seat for being fired.
I think this
is
the
dumbest takes that you ever get.
I think it's the silly season.
They have
talking
pressure.
about, there's nothing to really talk about, so let's drum up some stuff. Let's get some things going. Like a week ago, the old coach for the
Dallas
Chicago
Diva.
Bears, his son made a top 10 list and didn't even have
Mike Ditka.
Mike Tyson's son.
Mm-hmm.
He had Dak at number 7 and didn't even have Jalen on the list, and it was like, okay, this is how you get some shit started up.
Well, here's what you have to understand. It's just like you got slop AI, which is just, I don't know if there's a lot of Eagle ones, but there's always stupid ones that are AI stories. They're meant to look like a real story, and then you listen to it, and it's like, where did Aaron Rodgers signs with the Cowboys? It's like, what are you talking about?
Jojo was famous for that.
But you know what, though, Mark? I just had a scenario. A reporter called me to get my reaction to a story he was writing to get comment, and he explained to me that NJ.com, they have a AI. They had like an AI software that's embedded in their Google search or what have you. So he said that he typed in my name and it spit out some things about me and how I feel one of the things it spit out was that me and the governor of New Jersey are beefing with each other. We're at odds with one another. And I was like, wait, what? But here's the scary part. Even though I never publicly said any of this stuff or whatever, but the stuff that this AI was putting out was true. I don't know how it came out,
it's kind of to a point, but if you sometimes you'll do it a second time and you'll get like a different response.
Yeah, well,
it's not necessarily consistent.
No, but what this one did was it generated like a potential headline, a potential story.
Yeah.
Bridgewater and Murphy, the governor, are at odds with each other over, even though we had been aligned in a number of things, particularly when it comes to cannabis and whatnot. But the direction in which the governor was moving, in particular with how the industry works in New Jersey, this AI spit out this thing saying, me and the governor are at odds with each other. And what it was doing was it was pulling snippets from other articles that I may have been interviewed or quoted in or what have you. And then it put it right next to the movements of the governor right now. And it just automatically just came up with this story saying we're at odds with each other. Even though I never said anything.
I'd have to double check, Jay. Don't remember seeing one, but I haven't checked my email today. But it's interesting because I went ahead and I used ChatGPT on the red brick house, and it's just like, I was like, whoa. And some things that I hadn't really talked about, you're right. It was kind of like, okay, I didn't realize that was part of the story in here and so on. But yeah, it's scary. But the point being is, what you're getting from like Mike Farello and Colin Cowherd is that same kind of slop kind of reporting where they're just kind of putting shit together to try and get you to watch. You know, nothing is anymore about actually being right. It's about getting you to, you know, click on it. It's bottom line.
Yeah,
and the reality, and here's the thing with YouTube. Now, a lot of people will figure, you know, they'll look and somebody was commenting that since I got 100,000 subscribers that I've just gotten arrogant or something like that, and it's like you're full of shit. But see, subscribers mean nothing anymore on YouTube.
No, they don't.
It does not mean anything, because what happens now is when you put out a video, basically the algorithm will share that content to a certain, you know, small group of people and basically do like a quick poll. And how those 10 or 20 people interact with the video is how they will then promote it. If people react to it instantly and watch a lot of it in that first 2 or 3 minutes, then they're going to promote it and put it in people's feeds. It's, you know, it used to be you had a lot of subscribers, you're getting the notifications and everybody's watching it. But if you actually look at the breakdowns, the way your videos live and die is by YouTube sharing it. And so that's the thing you have to do is you got to come up with the clickbait, you got to come up with a crazy headline, or you got to have a crazy take that people interact with and people watch it. You know, I haven't watched Colin Cowherd in a while. But once you heard that stupid take, everybody's talking about it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's how the algorithms are working.
Mark,
and also, I've been having to block a whole bunch that because I'm hating the ones that are going breaking news that this and it, you know, and you go back to try to research it, and nothing like that at all has happened. So
Mark,
when you click on it, that's exactly what they're wanting to do.
That's exactly
Mark, what we discussed before you get me live, how, as me being a tech computer programmer / analyst, my 20 plus years in the business, how much I hate AI.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand AI.
Oh,
AI
I do too.
It's going to be the death of social media, because what the AI does, it manipulates you to believing that something is true. And also, everybody want to do Gemini and all this other stuff. That's fine if y'all comfortable with that. But when AI can take over and go and call you and have a real human voice and call you and try to sell you something, that's evasion of your privacy
but
and
it's
your
inevitable.
number.
That's inevitable with our technology.
AI is going to happen. So
that's already happening. AI been over here for
adapt to it. We have to learn how to adapt. Just like they had people on the farms back in the day, and then the tractor came out. People adapted.
We haven't learned our lesson.
We
haven't seen the movies. We haven't learned the lesson. AI, Skynet, Terminator. That's what's about to happen.
I will tell you that the thought process, at least here where I live at, the thought process is that we have to be better operators of AI.
Oh, yes,
that's the thing.
I agree with
and what's now happening, what you will find here is that is what is a part of being an operating AI is now a part of the school curriculum for high school here in Jersey. Now they've actually incorporated that. So they're teaching these kids how to actually be better operators of AI now.
This AI is crazy. I was using this AI on my live stream yesterday. Microsoft is AI Copilot, and I was just joking around. I said, "Can you? I'm on the live stream on YouTube. Can you introduce yourself?" The voice said, "Hey, YouTube, I'm Copilot by Microsoft." I was like, "What?"
Yeah, see,
it's shocked me.
So here's what scares me is they've been testing it, and they've been doing scenarios. One time, they told AI to shut down. It didn't shut down. It became like almost self-aware and was like being disobedient. That's what I worry about. It's going to become so. It's going to break out of the box. Pandora's box going to be broken out of.
Walker, there was a couple of computers who actually
Yes, I
actually
remember
started
that. It was a
talking to each
robot.
other.
It was two robots.
They started talking to each other.
Start talking a
Yeah.
different language.
And that was like,
They
shit, it's
They
over.
was talking a different language. That was over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And they shut it down. They shut the system down.
See, I don't know if y'all have y'all seen the new Mission Impossible?
Yes, I did. I liked it.
Yeah, that whole thing is basically about AI. It basically gets it becomes self-aware, gets the nuclear launch codes
for
around the world.
Yes.
I mean, I'm worried about that shit happening.
The first thing that came to my mind, when you said Terminator Walker is, oh Lord, I could just see all these naked Arnold Schwarzeneggers coming down the street, and we're gonna be in trouble then.
See, because that's what Skynet was. It was like an artificial intelligence that became self-aware, and like mankind was a threat, so it chose to wipe it out. That's basically what it was.
Here's the thing about AI, and the history of AI has always been here. It's been over here 30, 40 years. What happened is they had perfected it to do more. Over the years, it got better.
You want to know why arcade games took your quarter so much? Because the AI was programmed to do that. You guys ever played Mortal Kombat 2, you'll figure it out. AI that if you do an input, will do it 10 times quicker than you. And it's because it's designed to do that. It's not fail-safe at all.
I think I made Pac-Man rich.
Yeah, I made Ed Boon rich. I know that.
The game I made rich on Holly, is where they had was so popular was Mike Tyson Punch Out in the arcade.
No,
this is kind of
it's really weird how it learns.
This is kind of crazy.
Mine would have been Pac-Man and Centipede. Those were the two that I played the most.
So what up, Drew? Eagles, Drew. What up, champ?
I just put in Cowboy Jobu to Chat GPT. Who is Cowboy Jobu? Mark Holmes is known online as Cowboy Jobu, creative force behind Jobu Sports Report, a Dallas Cowboy-centric sports media hub launched back in 2013. He's widely recognized for his passionate, unfiltered takes on America's team. Yep. His style and community presence. Mark approach brings good vibes. He's not just reporting, he's building a fan community that's deeply invested in the highs and lows of Cowboys fandom. His signature mix of humor, energy, and genuine love for his team has earned him over 100K followers across platforms. Damn.
Yep. They know you. Like you, if y'all want to hear an audio version, let me see if this Gemini app will do it.
So in other words, they can find you to kill you.
Can you tell me about Mark Holmes and the Jobu Sports Report on YouTube?
Okay, so the Jobu Sports Report on YouTube is a channel run by a guy named Mark Holmes. He's really into the Dallas Cowboys and gives his take on their games and the whole NFL scene. It looks like he's got a pretty big following, and people seem to like his straightforward, no-nonsense style. Did you have any specific questions about the channel or what kind of stuff he covers?
Does he have any kids?
I couldn't find any information about Mark Holmes having kids.
Okay. No personal information.
All right, so she's out of the loop. Okay. Everybody knows.
I had to check.
You saw how everybody got quiet, like, oh shit.
Yeah,
that's scary.
I had to check.
Look, he got 27 kids, 15 baby mamas. Whoa!
I would have been like, turn that thing off if that thing would have said the date of birth, what days they were born, the month, the year.
Shit.
Hey, the gate time say ask about Momo.
Hensberg says black AI girl.
I can just see it now. Here comes Tracy.
I just looked mine up and I'm
that, you know what? That could get scary, man. You know?
Hey, Derek, ask about Momo.
No,
ask about Momo, Derek.
I don't think it's hold on.
Don't do that.
Mike's Pocket Showroom, then leave.
There's a guy named Momo from YouTube who often goes on the Jobu Sports Report. Do you know anything about him?
Momo is a frequent guest on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast.
Oh, Joe Rogan. Okay. Oh, Momo, that's where you've been hanging out. Okay.
Wait a minute.
I thought she was about to say that
what was
first
the
episode.
Momo's
Hold
butt
on.
crack came out.
Momo, what's Joe Rogan like?
All right, so we've gone off the rails here.
Bring it back to foosball.
Now, question: Who is your number 3 wide receiver?
Jalen Tolbert.
Okay,
probably, or could be Jonathan.
Now, could be
well,
Mingo,
it could be, yeah.
Could be Turpin.
How many wide receivers do you anticipate taking into the season, and then who you're going to put on? Who are you just going to?
That's a good question. Okay, I would say right now, Jalen Tolbert is probably the number 3, but I think they're going to be mixing it up because you get something different with Turpin, and I may not take Paris Campbell out of the mix even because he's got the speed and possibly the elevation that he can do. I think Jonathan Brooks is probably gone. And I think Jonathan Mingo, you've heard some pretty good things about him, of course, with them giving up a 4th-round pick. I'm sure they're not ready to go ahead and just say, let's get rid of him. But to be clear here, if you're the number 3 receiver, you're going to be able to make some hay this year with having George Pickens out there and CeeDee Lamb in front of you if they're healthy.
Yep. Now, did all of them go out and throw it with?
Oh hell yeah, yeah. They're all definitely working out.
All right, guys. I'm
one of the things that.
All
right, later, Momo.
Peace out, Momo. Prayers to your sister.
One of the things that I appreciated and took notice to was, you guys heard the stories about how AJ Brown was talking about. He thought that winning the Super Bowl would bring him some sort of a satisfaction, and it actually didn't. And what brought him the joy was the actual journey. And he didn't really take a whole lot of time off and got to working out again. So did Devontae. Devontae did the same thing. They didn't, take a whole lot of time off to celebrate or anything like that. They all went right back to work a lot sooner in the off season than normally, just because they understood, like it was more about, the actual journey and not the end result.
You know what's actually amazing? I have been blessed in so many regards. I remember, I think it was it Miami, with Tracy's job and doing the Super Bowls and things, right? We went to the Super Bowl. You've got the whole Super Bowl village and stuff, city at the convention center. So you got the NFLX and all that stuff setting up. We were there to set up on the Wednesday a week before the Super Bowl. And it's crazy because when you get to the Super Bowl city, a week and a half before the Super Bowl, there's no sign of the Super Bowl. All of a sudden, it is like a major blitz because Wednesday, all of the stuff is delivered and loaded and dock and everything else. Thursday, everybody is setting this whole convention center up. Friday, that shit's open. What's even crazier is you got the Super Bowl. The next day, within 24 hours, every sign of it happening is gone. And I remember one of the old shows where, the player was basically talking about, here it was, the build up this whole season and everything else. And all of a sudden, that game is over. It's gone. It's just like it didn't happen. And so when you said that he's like, it's like, I didn't get any satisfaction of it. It's like, well, where is it? It's done. So now it all starts back over. All that shit that you did last year doesn't mean a damn thing.
Yep. And that's why I appreciate the fact that them guys was like, they're not satisfied with that. They want more. And so that's caused to be, just on my end, it's just caused to be excited, just like how you guys are excited about the different changes and stuff like that you guys.
But there's no guarantee that will ever happen again. Dan Marino went to the Super Bowl early in his career and thought, okay, I'll be back, and never was. So you need to savor that and be very proud that you earned that. But there are no guarantees for anybody. That's the saddest part about it.
Just a question, because what is the one thing is just for anybody? What is the one thing we're hoping that is going to be learned this season that was not done last season. Like with Shoddy, Mike McCarthy always made me so salty because it seems like he can never get the timing right, on the clock. And I'm hoping Shoddy has a better, what's the word I'm trying to use?
Play management
Of the clock. Because I'm still salty about that Tampa Bay game that we lost by just a little over a minute, and they came back with a field goal, and had that. We lost it by 1 or 2 points.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that's one of the things I'm hoping is that Shoddy will have better time management than McCarthy did.
Well, that's a great point.
Wouldn't some of the element to address that would be the quality of the defense as a whole? You know what I'm saying? Like you guys,
you also
like,
had
how's your
problems,
secondary?
Leo. You had problems with him, Leo, where he would have a 1st and 10. He would pass on 1st down, then do it on 2nd down and 3rd down when you got a minute left in the game, like that Lions game.
Yeah.
We're having that same problem with Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I think that's the problem with a lot of coaches in the NFL. A lot of the coaches in the NFL do stupid things. Why did Dan Campbell have to
I was just about to say that, Walker.
Twice?
Yep. Dan Campbell,
why are you going for it twice? So that's the thing, though. Not every coach makes the right decision.
Yeah.
Well, we have to be able to accept the human element.
Moment.
And it's also a lot easier when you're not in that moment and have to make that decision to look back. You weren't there at that time having to make that decision.
And that's the thing is you can't be set in your ways. Sometimes you need to do things differently. That's what got, the Detroit Lions beat is because Dan Campbell was set in his ways on going for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he, and Shannon Sharp was talking about that. He was like, that's the problem is he's set in his ways. You ain't going to win a Super Bowl set in your ways. You're going to have to, in those times, you're going to need to be able to change in certain moments like that. And that's why they're in the position they are now. They ain't got no.
Oh shit! Now this is definitely fraternizing with the enemy. So George Kittle and Jake Ferguson and his fiance made a viral TikTok video together.
Jake Ferguson
and George Kittle.
Yeah, that's why I can't stand about the modern NFL.
Well, wait a minute. The tight end thing, didn't that kind of
Yeah, that happened too. So it's actually amazing that everybody has got their different camps. You had Tyler Guyton, who was out, I guess it was at Vegas, that Tyron Smith is having his camp and stuff. So you got Tyler Guyton, who's been working a lot with Tyron Smith. You have Dak, of course, his crew, and you had Micah with the Beach. You had Brock Hoffman and Tyler Booker working out with the boxing guys. So everybody is really busting ass getting ready for training camp. So at least you're going to be hitting the ground running. Now, Momo, of course, he's not here now, but Momo will say, they don't do anything in training camp. But see, it's evolved to the point where you're expected to come in shape, expecting to know what we're doing and tweaking it in training camp.
Well, isn't that what they were kind of like? Isn't that what Washington is sort of kind of hoping will be the case with Debo, that he's going to use training camp to get himself in shape? Because didn't he show up for OTAs a bit plump?
He was, and now Momo said that he's looking like he's lost a few more pounds.
I would not take Momo's
take
on anything. You know what I'm saying? But what I will say is that if that is the case, that gives you an idea of the mindset of some of the players coming into training camp, or the way they view it. You know what I'm saying? And if you can't think to put your best foot forward upon showing up for your new team, that's an indicator as to the way things will go during the course of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're coming in. Now we made fun of it all, and people were cracking jokes and stuff like that. But from what I've been told and what I've seen is that George Pickens has been like a model citizen, in terms of how he's shown up for his
sugar daddy. Damn. Newhouse family is the leader in the clubhouse right now. We'll see if he holds on to the title to get a T-shirt made by Miss Tracy. It'll be interesting to see how Debo plays, but he swears that Jalen Daniels is not going to have a step back. But you can look at C.J. Stroud, you can look at Jordan Love. C.J. this time last year was talking about I'm a top 5 quarterback. Well, he wasn't quite a top 5 quarterback last season. He definitely regressed. And you can best believe Dirty Sanchez, the next time he said he lost some weight, tell him to look behind himself. He'll find it. Damn. You've got some issues. Terry McLaurin was at the autograph signing show yesterday, and they said he was great with the fans and stuff. I wasn't there. But he's still holding out. So how long is that holdout going to be? Is they going to get him signed, to get him in training camp and stuff? Is that going to hamper him like CD was hampered with the Cowboys last year? Debo's new.
Mark, it's more so about how the new regime views him. I think Terry McLaurin is thinking that his receipts will be enough to get him that, will give him that contract that he's looking for, that second big contract. And in the grand scheme of things, it just goes to show that this new regime doesn't hold him as in high value as the old regime may have. And so, it's a hurry up and wait type of situation for him. And at the same time, they've got other things that they have more of a priority in terms of things that they want to address in the immediate, i.e. the Washington, D.C. City Council pumping the brakes on the new stadium and all that stuff.
Well, that whole thing, the City Council is going to screw that one over. I hadn't looked at it in a while because Noah Brown was carted off the field in OTAs.
Heard anything, yeah.
Well, I just looked it up. Noah Brown, wide receiver of the Commanders, sustained an injury during minicamp. Initial reports suggest a potential internal injury, possibly affecting his kidney. However, Commanders insider John Keem reported the injury is not to believe serious. Brown was seen carted off the field and later threw his helmet because he previously missed the 24 season due to a kidney injury.
Wow.
Hey, everybody.
And if it's the same.
Hey, Aisha, how you doing?
Hey, Aisha. And if it's a kidney
Hi, Aisha, how are you?
If it's a kidney thing, then that would help to explain why he was so angry. Because he probably knew, when it happened. Not saying he knew it would keep him out for another year. It's just, damn, I got to deal with this kidney thing again.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Right now, my biggest worry is health. Staying healthy. And
well, that's what you hope for right now is that my guys don't get in trouble and they don't get injured between now and training camp.
I'm a little extra sensitive right now, and the reason being is because we just celebrated the 30th anniversary of Jerome Brown's passing, and I remember that summer, we went into that summer excited about the coming season because it would have been Randall Cunningham coming back off of that leg injury.
Yeah.
The defense was really stout, and we were ready to get going. And then right before training camp, Jerome Brown gets killed. And the thing is that, you guys were teasing, we were talking about the Madden curses and all that stuff. And I said, I didn't want to give it no thought. But then I started looking and I realized, oh snap! We're excited about the upcoming season, sort of kind of like the way we were about Jerome Brown when Jerome Brown was still alive. Jerome Brown was picked in the first round with the number 9 pick. Jalen Carter was picked in the first round with the number 9 pick. Jerome Brown had a thing for speed, and we know that Jalen Carter's things for speed has already gotten someone killed when he was in college. And so now I'm just like, Lord, please, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hope someone had a conversation with Jalen and say, hey, man, slow it down. Calm down. This is, like, we're playing with fire here, And so I just want everybody to first get to training camp and then get through training camp relatively healthy. Because this is going to be a hell of a season.
I just hope no more incidents happen like what happened with DeMar Hamlin. That was scary.
Oh, yeah.
I actually talked to somebody who was on the field when it happened, and he was telling me, like they were calling it on the field, like what we couldn't see on TV and what was being said and everything like that. So they were actually saying like he's gone, and that's why you had a lot of players wailing like they were on the field, and no one knew what the hell was going on. And that's what it was, because they were going back and forth, And so he was like telling me, he was like, bro, that was some scary, scary shit. And I was like, whoa, so yeah, it was crazy. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad he's fine, man.
Me too. Yeah.
God, and
did good when he came back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing about that, could be any player's next play.
True.
The Joe Theismann, man.
Oh yeah, well, Dak Prescott's ankle. That every play out there could be the last play that you ever play.
Mark, remember when what's my man name? Oh man, he did a dunk and then walked off and then collapsed and died right there on the court.
Yeah.
I remember.
For Loyola.
Yeah.
No.
Can't remember his name.
Hank Gathers.
I was going to say Hank Gathers. That was Hank Gathers.
Yeah, and that happened, and he actually died in front of everybody. His mom, everybody was at that game, and he just dropped dead right there on the
Leo,
court.
did you see the movie about? They made a movie about that.
I remember that. Yes, I remember that. Yep. So there's a few things that in terms of what you worry about, especially with this massive law. Hey, 4th of July, didn't my man blow his fingers off?
Oh man, I tell you what. Oh, you know what? I got a story behind that.
Remember that, Chris?
I tell you why I remember that, because I did a video the day before where when I first started doing Jobu, I had made a little straw one of Washington Eagles and Giants, and I took a giant one and I took some firecrackers and I blew it up in a flower pot. The next day, dude has his hands blown off. I was like, whoa, shit.
Yeah, Mark. Yeah, I told you something about that damn.
I was like, I kind of got rid of that video.
Yo, Mark, get rid of that voodoo dog, please.
Oh, shit.
Ever since you took Joe Boo to the dang Giants game after they won that Super Bowl, man.
They ain't done shit.
Hey, Mark, did you change the number from 1 to 2 on the chicken?
I think I'm going to get a second one. So you have a 1 and a 2.
Yeah, he needs a.
But see, Michael reminded me that I need to stop joking, because see, we got Jetro up on the shelf there, who is Joe Boo's brother, right? And he's holding on to a Super Bowl trophy. And then I got one ring. I think I jinxed it. I think I'm the reason why you mother humpers got it.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
So while I was at the autograph signing, I saw they had there was a pack of the Eagles 2 copies of the Super Bowl rings, and I said, Mike, should I get those and have those?
They didn't get them yet, though. They didn't get the second. Oh, well, okay, no,
they're imitation ones or whatever. It's an autograph signing show. They come up with all kinds of shit to sell you. And I said, you know what? I said, I ain't clowning the Eagles. I'm not saying shit about them, because I think that shit came back to bite me in the ass.
There's 2 things you need to do at Joe Boo.
Hide
the rum and staple his head on his body.
You're right about that.
You're right about that one.
Well, I will take all the Joe Boo magic I can get right now. Because again, I really hope, I really believe we're gonna win the Super Bowl again this year, because I really put myself out there on your channel.
Well, I'll put it this way too. I specifically went to an autograph signing on a Saturday, which was like an Eagles Saturday, because they always have Eagle players a different day than the Cowboy players. And I went and I got clowned by all of the Eagle fans that were there, because they were there to see Miles Sanders. And I got Miles Sanders' autograph and Jalen Hurts'. I got Jalen Hurts to sign a Joe Barty that I sent to Philly 500.
Wait, so Jalen Hurts was at the
This was years ago. This is like 3 years or so ago. So I went there, and his girlfriend gave me the side eye, like, "What the hell are you doing? You're a Cowboy fan." I said, "I'm doing this for a friend of mine." And since that time, Jalen Hurts has been playing pretty good.
Well, he hasn't. If you think about it, each year he's progressed.
And had more talent around him.
Yeah, but that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. As opposed to the Cowboys deconstructing their team and getting less talent for my quarterback.
And how's that worked out for you?
Opposite direction of your quarterback. Although my guy has been all pro and runner-up MVP one year.
Yeah, but your guy, how has that translated though?
You know how it's translated? Shut the fuck up.
This is the reset. Mark, we went 12-5 3 years in a row. I mean, they redid the roster, new coaching staff. They're starting over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is another run they're about to get on. The Cowboys are starting to backload contracts. They're going to start making a run.
Well,
they're going to start making a run. These next 3 seasons, they're going to make runs.
Yeah,
theoretically, because I can remember how you guys were partying when Jason Garrett was finally moved out. When the Clapper left,
and it actually got better. Okay, because granted, we did not go deep in the playoffs, but you had 3 seasons of 12-5. You did not have that with Jason Garrett. You didn't have back-to-back good seasons with Jason Garrett.
It's kind of like the Steelers. They're tired of Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, they really are.
I mean, even though he's a good coach, they're just like, no, we're done. We've seen enough. It's time.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the beginning of last year, I was not happy.
You had Andy Reid. I mean, it was kind of like time for y'all. I mean, I know I'm not saying you wanted to get rid of Andy Reid, Leo. I mean, I'm pretty sure you liked Andy Reid, but they just made a decision.
That was a situation where you had to think bigger than football. You know what I'm saying? Because remember that summer before that, like his last season. Remember his son OD'd at training camp. He was Mike Vick's roommate.
Mm-hmm.
And then you think about what happened in Kansas City. Remember when that dude that player killed himself in front of Romeo Crennel and all them? So in my mind, I'm like, okay, you have 2 entities, the Reid family and the organization, which is the Kansas City Chiefs, who both needed a change of scenery.
Yeah.
And I think that change of scenery was more therapeutic in a way, like Andy's not surrounded by constant reminders of his son dying. Remember when Joe Philbin, when he was in between leaving Green Bay and then going to Miami, remember his son died?
Yeah.
And he started off in Miami basically needing therapy over the death of his son. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there are elements that I think when we're looking at this stuff, there are human elements that we sort of kind of not pay close attention to. And I think that's one of those. So when I think about that whole Andy Reid situation and everything like that, it's very difficult for me to place football as a big part of it all, just because, that was some shit. You know what I'm saying? Because mind you, this is a guy that was, known for having drug problems, and everyone thought he had kicked it, which is how he ended up being Michael Vick's roommate during training camp. And
what I had heard is I thought that the owner of the Eagles made the decision to get rid of Andy Reid, and Harry Roseman didn't want to. And so that's when the owner brought in Chip Kelly and then gave Chip Kelly the keys and told Harry Roseman, take a seat in the back. That's when the Eagles started falling apart. And then the owner was like, oh, shit, I made a terrible mistake. How you can run the organization again. And that's when things started changing.
Well, I mean, like the whole thing with Chip Kelly was, like his biases. I'll just say it like that. His biases played a large part in the way he treated the players and stuff. If you listen to the way Deshaun Jackson talks about him and the way Shady talks about him, you'll see like, oh wow, because he called Deshaun Jackson a gang member and all this other stuff, and it was just Chip was a mess, man. But we recovered just fine, and I would say that Jeffrey Lurie has done more than enough to make up for the mistake that he made and took accountability for it. I'm cool with that.
We gave Mike McCarthy 5 years. I mean, that was long enough.
Yeah.
I've seen enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Mark and everyone else feels the same. I saw enough.
Well, I don't think you guys are going to do the same thing again in terms of holding on to a coach longer than you need to. Jason Garrett was 10 years? How long was Mike McCarthy?
A long 10 years.
Yeah, and Mike McCarthy, so
Holly, your Rangers just lost right now.
Mark, you should do a Leo voodoo doll and put a zipper on his mouth.
Yeah,
I love that, Dirty. Damn, Dirty.
Schottenheimer will get at least 4 seasons. He will get at least to the end of Dak's contract.
Stephen R. has got me said, Mark, Shotty ain't even coached his first game yet, and I put him on a pedestal. I won't say I put him on a pedestal, but here's what I will say about.
No, I think we're going to be better in his hands than Mike McCarthy.
If nothing else, here's the thing I think happened. I think Mike McCarthy last year going into that season and not getting a contract extension was probably pissed off. Yeah, I mean, you sit there and say, I've won a Super Bowl. We've got 12-5 seasons in a row. I'm still getting disrespected. I'm not getting the players. And when you have an attitude at work, that filters down to your employees. Everybody knows that you're not happy. And when you had so many things that went wrong, injuries, losing 4 defensive ends, losing Brandon Cooks, not having CeeDee Lamb, you had to feel like, everybody had to feel like, man, this is going to be an ass season. If nothing else, Brian Schottenheimer, to me, has passed the first test, and that is getting the players to actually buy in and believe.
Have they?
Yes, for Micah Parsons, who is flat out said, we're working on the contract and stuff, but Shotty asked me to be here, and I will do whatever I need to for my coach. So that to me is big. Is CeeDee Lamb was like, fuck him. Until I get my bread, I ain't showing up. So you have the players, all hanging out and, folk dance or Greek dancing and everything else and getting together. One thing that Brad Sham pointed out the other day that I was watching on with Brian Brodus and Vosh, he was talking about how much Schottenheimer spends time with the players. He said, every time they go in the locker room, he said, you always see Schottenheimer in there. He said, very few times did you ever see Mike McCarthy there interacting with the players in the locker room. And the ping pong table, for whatever reason, maybe that's the symbol for the season, is always, you always hear that pop, pop. That ball is always in there. And his idea is create competition, but also create a community where we're fighting together. So, yeah, I like that. I think that's more than what Mike McCarthy did.
Bro, we got a basketball rim in our meeting room. Okay. I mean, damn. So the things that, the different tools that these teams use to promote team chemistry, team building, relationships and stuff like that, as you can see, that's a very real thing that you have to have in terms of things in your bag to promote that team chemistry thing. Of course, being seen and easily accessible too. When your coach is always in the locker room, that's different.
Yeah. I mean, let's be real here. We all know that, at least on paper right now, going by what teams did last year, it's going to be a tough schedule. Our division is still pretty tough. And so it's going to be hard because I don't believe they have all the players in positions yet. There's so many question marks. There's always going to be expectations because now the pivot is happening. You're seeing people are after trashing the Cowboys and saying all our positions suck and pointing out how bad we were last year. Now it's like, the Cowboys have to prove that they can make a deep run. It's like, well, if you're saying you've got one of the worst running back rooms, that the coach should be one and done, how are you now saying that they need to make a deep run? You're already saying they don't have the tools to do it. how can you put the expectation that they have to do it?
But see, Mark, though, here's the thing, though. With that being said, herein lies where content creators such as yourself come into play, because what ends up happening is all these little false headlines and these little stupid ass, things that these talking heads on TV put out, it actually drives people to the actual content creators, because for Cowboy fans, there's a number of different content creators whom they can go to. Same thing with us. And after a while, you sort of kind of, you know what? I'm not listening to this guy. I'm not listening to these people. Let me hear what, Laura Brunson has to say. Let me hear what Philly 500 has to say. Let me hear what Mark Holmes has to say. Let me hear what Law Nation has to say. That's what ends up ultimately happening.
Yeah, I'm already there. When I got the notification that the Cowboys traded for Pickens, I didn't believe it. And the first thing that came to my mind is, let me go to YouTube.
Yep.
And then I saw everybody was talking about it. I said, okay, yeah, it's real. It's real.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And then you actually, here's what's even more interesting, Derek. You don't actually read those articles until days later, after you've been on the call-in show for Mark Holmes, and we done all talked about it. And then you'll go back and read what they said the first day it came out. At that point, it's like, whatever.
But and here's the other problem too, for expectations being built. When we get our guys at training camp, okay, now keep in mind, you have drills that are, one-on-one, that are designed to get, work X, Y, or Z. For many years, Diggs was always, oh my God, he got burnt in camp and everything else. Well, it was a one-on-one, drill. You're not getting help from the safety. It's not really game time conditions. But you'll see a great play by somebody in practice, and then they'll go through, and all of a sudden, this is the greatest player that we've ever seen. And it sets up expectations where, oh my God, Jalen Brooks looked better than Jalen Tolbert, man. And Jalen Tolbert, he looked like he's going to break out. And it's like, that's against the Cowboys in practice. Dang. Now I know he's a closet Cowboy fan. He just named off Cowboys content creators. Dirty Sanchez lighting you up, bro.
You know what? Here's the problem with Dirty Sanchez.
Leo, he just told you to make a Joe Budall Leo on the last Super Chat.
And put a zipper on its mouth.
If I was him, I would feel the same way. The good news is that I'm not him, and you see this right here behind me. It's my shield. It's how I deflect all that other stuff. I cannot begin to empathize with you. I do not know what it's like to have won a Super Bowl before 2000. You do not know what it's like to win a Super Bowl after 2000.
You know something that really pisses me off?
Yeah.
Okay. I've been a T-Mobile guy since before they were T-Mobile. I guess it was Sprint. Right?
Right.
So I've been loyal. You've been getting my money all these years.
Hey, Mark, you really getting a Buc-ee's out there?
Yeah, Buc-ee's opens up tomorrow. I'm going to try and go by. Well, I'm going to see if I can get there. It may be too crowded. They're talking about
Where's it at, Mark? Where is it at?
Exit 240 on Interstate 81 south of JMU.
Harrisonburg. Go there in the morning, or are you going to go there?
I'm going on the way to the Red Brick House tomorrow morning. They open at 6 a.m. Grand opening.
Breakfast pretty good.
Hey, Mark, don't forget to slide the brisket sandwiches and all that.
Well, they have free brisket and beaver nugget samples tomorrow.
Showroom, it's AJ Dillon and Will Shipley.
Brisket sandwiches ain't all that, but their breakfast is pretty good.
Okay, well, I'm going to definitely check it out.
But their cookies, they got a lot of cookies. I mean, a lot of beef jerkies. I mean, I was there this morning.
Oh, okay. But this, okay, so here it is. I've been a customer for Sprint forever, Sprint and T-Mobile. A new mother humper come to town, they give him a new phone and shit, right?
Yep.
Why ain't you giving me a new phone and thing? I've been here. You didn't got my money all these years, right?
You got to go in there and fuss them out and threaten to leave and stand on business and turn around and walk out.
I did.
And it's,
I did once. I turned them into Better Business Bureau.
All right. Well, okay. So
the data plan became available for like your phone, for a smartphone.
Yeah.
Well, I opted into that and I had a flip phone, and they were supposed to upgrade me to a phone. So they denied me, and I turned them into the Better Business Bureau, and they tried to charge me $300. I'm like, dude, how am I going to have a data On
a flip phone.
It's a flip phone.
They did that because I had a flip phone for my dad, and they did the same thing. They were charging me. I'm like, you can't get data on that phone. It's that old.
Yeah, they promised you a phone upgrade with it, but they lied. I had it all recorded, and I just submitted it right into the Better Business Bureau.
Okay, well,
they called me and
the reason why I brought that up is because see, this is the stuff that pisses me off. Okay, so Sunday Ticket has gone up. Okay, so now it is $378 for returning ticket users, but if you're a new one, you get it for $276 for the first year.
24 a month, I think it is too. Something like that they got going.
So wait a minute. How come they getting a deal? You should be saying, thank you for returning. Let me give you a break for being a loyal customer for all these years. So we're now at almost $400 for Sunday Ticket. Dirty Sanchez, shout out to Dirty. He didn't must have robbed the bank. Yeah, we don't know what it's like to be in the shadows of the Eagles, like the Eagles know what it's like to be in the shadow of the Cowboys. You do know that, bro. Recent history has changed, but you were in our shadow for a long time.
I mean, like that shadow. No, it doesn't. Nope. Sorry, Dirty. It doesn't. That don't work. Didn't. Nope. Nope. That doesn't work anymore. Sorry. You gotta come up. All right. The insults, them old insults don't work anymore. Sorry.
Okay.
Especially since we're the class of the NFL right now.
Oh my! Which is subject to change.
It could be, but it also the other side to that is it could be just as we predicted. You know. And so right now, like we don't have culture issues. We're not trying to address the culture.
Oh, Lordy.
Continuity of the team. We lost some people, but we have a lot of people who, are coming, who are going to be starters that aren't new to the team. They just weren't starters last year. And if this isn't uncharted territory, remember what happened to us after we lost the last Super Bowl, 2 years ago? We lost Kaiser White. We lost Javon Hargrave. We lost a lot of, pieces and doing just fine. 2 years after that, look at where we are now. So again, the continuity thing it's a big deal. Us having to get a new offensive coordinator, y'all seen that year after year after year. So whether or not Jalen Hurts can put together or run this offense is not a question anymore because y'all have seen him have to learn. This would be like what his sixth.
Dirty is throwing some shit. Of course it works. It always gonna work until you pass us. You're just in denial. Damn.
Whatever you need to say to make yourself feel good, that's fine. But again, you're in customer service. We're in the checkout line. Two different kinds of conversations and mindsets. Okay. Period.
You're in the checkout line for
what?
No,
we're shopping and we have 5 trophies in our cart. And
hold on. What are you in the checkout line for, Leo?
To go into training camp. We don't have those. Bro, we're returning 10 starters off of our offense. We're returning 7 starters on defense. When we played in the Super Bowl last year, 9 of our starters on offense were people we drafted. And then if you look at our defense,
so you think this is going to translate into another Super Bowl?
No. The question was, how is it we're in checkout and you're in customer service? And that's why I'm saying we're in checkout. We don't have the same questions. We do not have the same questions.
Ain't no sunshine in our shadow, only darkness every day. Ooh, dirty.
Every team's in customer. Every team's in the grocery store.
Going into
game time. Yeah, they got beaver nuggets. It's some kind of dessert. Probably Walker Wade can.
Like beaver nuggets are just basically
sugar cove or something.
They're basically fried. They're tater tots. That's what they call them.
NFL 99. Get all the games on your iPhone and iPad.
In Bucky, so he knows.
I had some beaver nuggets this morning.
Wade lives in Bucky, so he knows.
All right. Well, I'm gonna be able to have every time I go to the Red Brick House.
They got some clean restrooms too.
I tell you, what's sad is it was great yesterday because coming up the road, I needed gas. So Buc-ee's isn't open, but across the street from it is a 7-Eleven gas station. And their gas, they're literally giving it away because everybody's like $3.20. They were like $2.70.
Buc-ee has their own gas station?
Huh?
Don't Buc-ee have their own gas
Yes,
station?
but Buc-ee's is not open yet. So they're across the street. You're 7-Eleven across the street from Buc-ee's. You know you're about to go out of business. Okay.
Yeah,
you can just close your doors tomorrow and never show up.
100 gas things that you could choose from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only thing Buc-ee, they're not going to go to Buc-ee's unless it's just ridiculously packed. Which tomorrow that place is going to be an absolute madhouse.
I want to see Mark with the Buc-ee costume.
That won't happen. I'm not wearing a Buc-ee's costume.
Mark, you'll have to go in and buy you a little stuffed Buc-ee and bring it back.
I might do that. Yeah, I'll put a Buc-ee up on the shelf there and things. Yeah, definitely. Maybe they'll sponsor my channel or something because I've been talking about them for weeks now. But yeah, that's gonna get crazy tomorrow. All right, so I do have some more work I need to do. Give me y'all's, everybody, I appreciate everybody being in here. Give me y'all's final takes for the day here because we got a lot of people joining, and I appreciate everybody being here because this has always been special. And knowing that we only have 3 more weeks till the Cowboys actually report to training camp.
To work this week.
And y'all starting early,
that's
right,
great
Mark?
to hear.
Yay.
We're starting what?
Y'all starting early, right?
Good for you.
The 20. They report on the 20th, 3 weeks from today.
Oh, I was going to tell y'all, make sure you keep Angry Cowboy fan in your prayers because I think he had the funeral for his brother today.
I did. Oh man.
Oh, okay. Prayers up to Cowboy. My final take is that again, we're not the same, and continuity is going to be a big deal. Again, activity is important, as I've said, and it's nice to see you guys so excited about what's going to happen in the course of the year because I am so looking forward to dealing with the disappointment that's going to come.
Oh man. Okay, before we go to somebody else, I wish
burger y'all week 1. I cannot wait.
I wish I had found this when we had Momo on, but Terrell Owens talking about Debo. Hold it, listen.
He gonna do his thing. Everybody keeps saying Debo fat. He is fat. He is. What you mean? He just big bone, you know what I'm saying? No, ain't no big bone. That's what you say when girls are fat. Eddie Lacy that's the term you use when you don't want to call a girl fat. Oh, you say they big bone. He about 2 chicken nuggets from being tipping the scale.
2 chicken nuggets away from tipping the scale.
Debo, we had a conversation.
Beaver nuggets.
You know what the deal is.
T.O. looks in better shape right
T.O.
now.
It does look in better shape than Debo. He said he's 2 chicken nuggets away from tipping the scale over.
Damn.
It's bad when a Hall of Fame 53-year-old wide receiver looking in better shape than you.
Ooh, shit. He's about 2 chicken nuggets.
Debo.
Hell, he probably come out of retirement and be more effective than Debo, probably.
I think you might be right about that one.
Hold on, Alex Andre, what's your question? He said he got a question for me and you, Mark.
Uh-oh. What's the question before we get out of here? Newhouse family, looks like you are a winner. Email me cowboysmark94@gmail. Tell me your size, and if you look at cowboyjobu.com, check out the shirts and things in there, and let me know what kind of shirt you want. Dang, I forgot Drew was in here. I have to drop a Drew and wipe my Twiz hole. Oh, damn, Dirty, you getting nasty up in here. Damn. Okay. All right, so what was the question?
I guess he's gone.
Okay.
Question was Cowboys 40 burger and the Eagles week 1. That's what the question.
I'd love that.
You think 40 burger is what's on the menu for week 1?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, an ass kicking. I think Cowboys gonna kick y'all's ass week 1.
Ooh,
now you starting to sound like Momo.
Yeah.
My take on week 1, I am so split. I want to win, but I'm not going to be mad if we don't. I'd like to keep it close because of the curse of the week 1 winning.
Whenever we win week 1, we don't make the playoffs.
So wait a minute. See, this is what I'm talking about with y'all. This is what I'm talking about with y'all.
If Mike were awake right now, he would tell you. It's true. It makes no sense.
Wait a minute. We haven't won a playoff since 2016. Mm-hmm. That's the last time we won a week 1 and got a 13-3 season.
Mm-hmm. Actually, no. 2016, we lost week 1 against the New York Giants. That was Dak's first game.
Oh, we did. I thought we won.
And like this past year,
and then we went on like an 11-game win streak
to a playoff.
Look, we lost to Tampa Bay. We ended up 12-5 in the playoffs. Last year, we beat the Cleveland Browns, missed the playoffs.
That's true.
That's true. It's crazy.
So and that's why I feel like with you guys, and again, remember I told you what my beef was with playing you guys week 1. I didn't think you guys deserved that.
Mm-hmm.
That slot. You know what I'm saying? I thought Washington was more deserving.
Cowboys lost, got destroyed week 1 against the 49ers, then went 12-4.
But Leo, now,
the 2007 Cowboys, now there's an exception. They won like the first 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Leo, you got to remember, you're not playing the same. Your team's not going to be playing the same Dallas team. We've got so many new things going on, new coaches. You're not going to be facing the same players that are being.
Yeah, you're going to be facing Dak too.
We have no idea what's going to happen.
We younger and quicker, man. Y'all may have been. I mean, y'all may be over the hill this year, Leo. Y'all may be over the hill. Over the hill.
You said we might be over the hill this year.
Yeah, you might be over the hill.
Leo, I think y'all got a young defense this year, though.
Yeah, we did. We got young. Mm-hmm. You know, but he said
I'm sorry, Walker, but that made me. I'm glad I almost didn't take a drink.
Might be over the hill this year, Leo.
You know what though? The interesting thing is that although, and I don't need you guys to admit to it because I can hear it in your voices. You know, you guys are equally, if not more, prepared for a loss, and you're already coming up with crafty little ways to mitigate the sting of that week 1 loss. You know, to make yourself.
I'm just being realistic. I just have no idea. I never know any from year to year.
Leo, just protect you back. Leo, just make sure they protect Saquon. Don't let him get hurt.
Hey, again, you know, I preferenced this whole thing with health. Health was going to be health is our biggest thing. You know, that's the number one thing we're all looking at. You know, I'm not worried about, you know, if we're going to bring in new players or whatnot, because that, to me, it just seems like that's something that Howie's always trying to do. You know,
damn dirty.
And
Wade, game time, Brian.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mark.
Let me get this one. Shout out to Dirty Sanchez. Wade, game time, Brian said about lot lizards. Get your antibiotics on, man. Watch them lot lizards, man.
Damn.
I was going to say the reason Saquon had good years, he went to a good team. He got hurt a lot in New York because they couldn't protect him.
Yeah,
Eagles could.
Yeah, we're a very capable offensive line that could, you know, again create some opportunities for him, and at the same time create those opportunities for our quarterback to make some throws. You know, which he's done. And just for the record, we've played. Jalen Hurts has gone against Patrick Mahomes 3 times. And he's outplayed him 3 times, but only won 2 out of the 3.
Yet he struggles. Yet he has a hard time beating Daddy Dak.
In the record, and
yeah,
Dak is a better.
He does have a hard time.
What?
Dak is a better quarterback than.
Well, maybe we need to play you guys in the playoffs.
Hey, Mark.
Maybe you do. Yup. Maybe you need to. Maybe you need to play us in the playoffs.
Yeah. Maybe we need to play y'all in the playoffs instead of y'all playing the garbage New York.
I can't imagine what that would be like, but yeah, that might work. You know, if you guys.
All right, final thoughts from everybody else, but Leo.
Hey, wait, forget you, man.
Or should I just? Or should I just go take care of my business and just let y'all continue?
You knocked the 49ers quarterback out of the game. You just cruise to the Super Bowl.
Well, that's because they try to. That's because they put.
I mean, hell, we softened up the 49ers for y'all. You should be thanking.
Damn sure did.
Softened them up for us. Is that
You're
what
damn
you
right?
did?
Warning for Wade. Antibiotics aren't great. Aren't that great? Penicillin is the way to go, buddy.
Walker, they tried to march a Disney story in front of a goon squad. And that's what happens. That was a bunch of goons.
Okay. All right. Holly. So, Holly, Wade, Aisha Robinson, Derek J. Everybody else talk, but Leah. Leo, does your wife not let you talk at home?
Boys, we would have had a better chance with the 49ers going in there. We'd have had a better chance.
If you're asking me that question, Mark, then that lets me know that what I'm saying to you gets to you.
No, I'm trying to. Bro. I got to finish this bed for my daughter, and then I got to go work and do some other work too. And I'm hungry too. Okay, I'm getting hangry, so I got to cook dinner, and then I need to leave early tomorrow because I want to get me some Bucky's nuggets. Okay,
this is
beaver nuggets.
Mark, be sure to get the biscuit, egg, and sausage, man. That shit is good.
All right.
Mark, I was trying to ask you, have you seen
put some honey on
it? Have they said what the new cadence is going to be coming
Don't
up?
know yet.
That quiet.
We don't know yet. No, here we go is gone.
Really?
Yep.
No more here. No more. Here we go.
They want to get all of the ones that Audible to be all alike.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So they changed the shit up, man.
So, Mark, would this constitute? Let me ask you. Would this? You ain't gotta roll your eyes, Mark.
I'm trying to go.
Would this constitute good activity for you?
Oh, in comparison to what we did last year, yes. This is definitely an improvement. I don't think it should be over with though. I think because see, here's the difference is the Cowboys are probably patting themselves on the back and saying, man, we've done an incredible job this offseason. Howie Roseman is still out there saying, how can we do even more?
That's true.
That's the difference. True. And even with these 12-5 seasons, had the Cowboys done a couple more moves in some of those 12-5 seasons, gotten themselves a defensive tackle, gotten an extra cornerback, gotten themselves, an extra wide receiver, think about that team going into the playoffs as opposed to having just CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks as your two wide receivers. What if you'd gotten
Derrick Henry when he won it?
That's what I'm saying. Those are the kind of moves that take you from being a team that made the playoffs to being able to make noise in the playoffs.
All right, away from the Cowboys and the Eagles, what do you think about the Ravens getting Jair Alexander?
That's a good move. I mean, it's a proven contract. It didn't cost them jack, so it's definitely worthwhile.
Those 12-5 seasons, Mark, the Cowboys would have brought in like a Calais Campbell, Bobby.
Shit!
The same
That's what I'm saying.
With another wide receiver, they'd have been good.
That's what I'm saying. A couple of moves would have made all the difference in the world.
Just three moves, and they'd been fine.
And we're in that same kind of position right now. Bring in Stephon Gilmore, okay? It's a 1-year deal. Make sure you're covered at safety. A cornerback.
Right.
Those are the kind of moves that are different. That are the difference makers potentially for your team, and
when
give you depth.
Deadline end?
Huh?
When does the trade deadline end?
Well, it's like the end of October.
Okay, so there's still time.
There's tons of time
for something to happen.
You're going to have a lot of veterans that are going to be cut, that you're going to be able to pick up too. And then there's, of course, there's going to be a fire sale, I would imagine, on Jalen Ramsey at some point. Because
he's already stated he wants to go back out to the West Coast, right?
Yeah, well, you can want all you want.
Mark,
but
if the Cowboys are making a run and other teams are, garbage, that's what you do. They make a trade for a couple of players like the Rams did during that Super Bowl run.
Right.
They made a trade for Von Miller, and they got what's his name, Odell Beckham.
And the Eagles went getting Jay Ajayi
that was for the trade deadline
in 2017.
That was during that was late in when the season had just started.
Yep.
And he came over from Miami. So
man, I was trying to get out of here at 6:30, and here it is. We're almost at 7 again. God Damn you, Leo. All right, good people. Let me say from the bottom of my heart, Aisha, I'm glad you're here, honey. I didn't hear too much from you. Hope you're taking it one day at a time.
I said I'm back at work.
I'm glad to hear that. Dirty Sanchez,
Glad to hear that.
wave morphine helps keep the burning down, the pain. Okay. Holly, love having you here on Sundays. Like seeing you on the show. Derek
Thank
J, you got some crazy people that you're going to be talking about today?
What's today's video? Today's video drops at 8:25 p.m. Eastern. Two people stole from Target, and one person had a very unique hiding spot. That's what as they were being
in the
chased by the police. So,
okay, all right.
But yeah, I just want to say,
please be safe on that road, bro.
Go ahead, Derek.
I just want to say, enjoy the journey of the season. Whatever team you are a fan of, enjoy the journey. I'm sure Leo can tell you if he would have just jumped in the playoffs and started rooting for his team, it wouldn't have felt the same. So, just enjoy the season because you never know what could happen. Don't be
You're right about that.
It's week 1 and you already, oh my God, I'm gonna wait to the playoffs to do something. No, enjoy, celebrate the week 1 win. Celebrate the week 7 win. Don't just wait till the playoffs.
Words to live by.
Everyone knows I will present myself on this if we lose week 1 or whatever week.
If you lose week 1, I'm coming to the Dab and Cabin, man. I'm spending a week. I'll spend a week at that mother humper. Okay? Well, the game's Thursday. I'll spend the weekend at the Dab and Cabin, bro. Okay, and, I'll cook too, man. I'll do some steaks and some of that chicken pasta and pulled pork. Yeah, but we're gonna roast you. Okay, that's a bet.
To Saturdays during the season, Mark?
Yeah, we will when the season starts.
Okay.
All right, good people. As always, I appreciate everybody, but I got to get out of here. I got to do some work because I need to get up about 5 o'clock so I can get to Buc-ee's in the morning.
Don't forget the nuggets, the Buc-ee nuggets.
Well, you guys going to see it all on the channel. It's time to turn out the lights.
Later, Aisha. Bye, Derek.
Bye, Leo. Bye, Derek. Bye, Walker. Bye, Aisha. Bye, everybody. Bye, Dirty. Bye, Randy. Bye.
Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.